This is Skip Unleashed, brought to you by ZipRecruiter. So Jerry Jones has done it to me again. He sucked me back in when I least expected it. I was ready to bail last night, Monday night, my Monday nightmare. I went to bed saying, that's it, I'm out. I posted a video after my Monday nightmare. Arizona 27, Dallas 17. My offense scored 10 points in that game. I was done. It's a clown show. Or to quote my friend Aqib Talib on Arena Gridiron, a shit show. Over and out. Done. I'm off the bandwagon because it ran completely off the road, went over the edge of the cliff and down into the bottom of the canyon. And I wake up to see that the big trade that Jerry was teasing yesterday, or this is going back to Monday, the big trade that he was boasting about but couldn't actually specify when he was talking to Stephen A. Smith on his radio show on Monday, I thought, Logan Wilson? Are you kidding me? Now you're just rubbing salt in my wound, Jerry, because Logan Wilson lost his job on a defense that's even worse than our defense. Cincinnati is statistically considerably worse than Dallas's defense. And Logan Wilson, once a major contributor to a Super Bowl team, lost his job this year to a rookie. He was expendable. We got him for a 7th round pick, and you're gloating about that? What? Logan Wilson's 29. He'll do nothing for our defense except maybe make it a little worse. And then today, on Tuesday, just before we were ready to kick off Arena Gridiron from Gil's Arena out here in the Valley in Southern California, my producer, Tyler Korn, comes running into the room where I was prepping for the show and said, Quinnen Williams. What? Jerry went and got Quinnen Williams from the Jets? It took me 10 minutes to sort of catch my breath. Why would the Jets give up Quinnen Williams? Well, they'd already given up Sauce Gardner to the Indianapolis Colts. What a sweet move that was. That was a Super Bowl move. Is it possible this is a playoff move? Quinnen Williams to Dallas? Quinnen Williams is a flat-out, difference-making stud. 6'3", 303. Only 27 years of age. Got 2 more years left on his deal, so it's not like he's one of those free agent rentals for the rest of this year, because that would be pretty stupid, because what's exactly left of this year? And then I started to think, well, wait a second. Quinnen Williams, we're talking about Pro Bowl, first team, all-pro anchor of your defensive line. And I'm thinking, well, wait a second. We just traded Micah Parsons and got back Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark, another Pro Bowler. All of a sudden, the middle of my defensive line is set. And all we had to give, we got the 2 firsts back from Green Bay. One of those picks, it could be Green Bay's, it could be Dallas's, whichever is better that year, is 27. It's the 27 first rounder to the Jets, along with a 2nd rounder this coming draft in 26. So it's a 1st and a 2nd. And we gave him Mozzie Smith. Who cares about Mozzie Smith? He's a swing and a miss bust. He was supposed to be Quinnen Williams. He was supposed to be Kenny Clark. But he wasn't. We tried everything. We tried starting him. We tried to just blend him into the rotation. He's a swing and a miss. Athletic freak at Michigan. No intangibles. And the Jets wanted Mozzie Smith. Thank you. Take him off our hands. Take him off our cap. It's a beautiful. Quinnen Williams is the kind of player that can take you places, as in take you to an NFC championship game we haven't been to in 30 years. Yeah, he can take you there. And then I sat back and I started thinking, wait, DeMarvion Overshown says he is on track, on pace to be back in the lineup, back on the field after this upcoming bye week for the Monday night game at Las Vegas. Overshown, as you well know, Cowboy Nation, is a difference maker, a game wrecker, playing sort of a monster position, a combination safety, linebacker, edge rusher, difference maker. Back, I don't know, is he going to be 100%? This is a very special kid we're dealing with here. He says he's 100. I believe him. And all of a sudden, the Logan Wilson deal, given the bye week, for a guy at 29 who does know how to play. Jerry's trying to compare him to Leighton Vander Esch. I don't know. Leighton just never could stay healthy. At least Logan's pretty much stayed healthy. He got a bad call in the Super Bowl that cost Cincinnati effectively the game. Is it possible he's revitalized in Dallas? Is it possible that over the bye week and then with another week before a Monday night game, we get Trevon Diggs back at corner? I don't know what's going on with Trevon. My man Aqib Talib tells me, said it on today's Arena Gridiron, he's straight, to quote Aqib, that all is good. He's not pouting. He's not unhappy. That's what I thought. This was kind of a mental break for him because he just couldn't take Matt Eberfraud's defensive schemes that were zone-based instead of man-based. And I'm thinking, is it possible Diggs is going to come back revitalized, refreshed, re-energized for the Vegas game? It's possible. And what did I say in my video I posted after the Monday Nightmare game? That the shock to me was my offense let me down, and weirdly, improbably, impossibly, in the second half, my defense that got shredded by Jacoby Brissett in the first half, 7 of 9 third down conversions. I'm just hiding my eyes. My defense started to flash potential. Jadeveon Clowney didn't just turn back the clock like we did on Saturday night. He turned it back about 10 years. Can you trust that going forward? Maybe. I mean, all he used to be was the first overall pick. I think he likes it here. I think he likes the scheme. He was changing the game in a second half that we held Jacoby Brissett's offense to 0 for 4 on third down and 0 for 1 on fourth down. That worked. That looked real. That looked, dare I say, right. So if you take that tiny bit of defensive momentum and you add Quinnen Williams and DeMarvion Overshown and Logan Wilson with 2 weeks to get ready for a game at Raiders, I'm starting to like it. So understand, I went to bed. I was making notes to do this video as an obituary for my Cowboys. The clown show, shit show that they have become. Because they have been. A year from heaven had turned into me to a year from hell. And I'm looking at what happened. Remember, I took one look at the schedule the night it came out, and I told you, by NFL standards, this is a cakewalk schedule. This is easy. This is thank you, football gods. You can't get better. I told you I loved the opener at Philly. I loved Philly last year, picked them before the year to win it all, and they did. But on banner night at Philly, where Dak had thrown 10 touchdown passes to 0 interceptions, with their minds on what they did a year ago as opposed to these sorry-ass Cowboys, I liked our chances, and we were right there. We ended up losing 24-20. Why was that? Because the best receiver in football, my favorite Dallas Cowboy, number 88, upholding the tradition, not that night, dropped 4 passes, including 2 long ones in the fourth quarter. If he catches those 4 balls, we win the game. I'm telling you, we win the game. So I said, I booked that as a win, and we should have won. And then look at how the schedule shaped up for us. You get the Giants at home, then you go to the Bears, and I thought, that's a dub. We can beat Caleb Williams there. We're just better than they are. We can do that, right? And then Green Bay at home, we owe them for what they did to us in the postseason 2 years ago when they were ahead 27-0 before halftime. We can do this, especially with the Micah factor now. I didn't know that the night the schedule came out. But the point is, we did everything but beat Green Bay. I kept calling it, we tied and won the game. But it's 40-40. Did we have a shot to? Yes, we had a shot to win it. So I gave us a dub on that one. Then at Jets, surely we could win that one. At Carolina, surely we could win that one. Then Washington at home, yeah, we always play them tough. Even with Jaden, I thought, yeah, we could win that game. And then at Denver, I said, no, it's just too hard a place to play. I'll give you that one as a big L. And then Arizona on Monday night, yes. So going into the bye, what I saw was 7-2 at the worst, maybe 8-1, maybe 8-1. Tell me I'm crazy, because I don't think I'm crazy. When I looked at that, I said, thank you. And then down the stretch, it gets tougher, but it's almost all tough at home. I'll get to that in 1 second. My point to you is, I was so excited about this, and then you know what happened? Clown show happened. CD did drop those balls. And then the Giants, I was saying, great, they're going to play Russell Wilson instead of Jackson Dart. The guys on Arena Gridiron were laughing at me. I said, no, I don't want Jackson Dart because he's just the Energizer Bunny who'll come in there with Scatterboo and light it up and pull off a shocking upset. I thought, what's left of Russell Wilson, I'll take it. All Russ did was throw for 450 yards against this all-time bad Dallas Cowboy defense. But we pulled it out because Russ made one late mistake in overtime, and we won 40-37. Brandon Aubrey made all 4 of his field goals. One saved it from 64 into regulation. I told you Green Bay. Dak had a QBR of 95 against Green Bay. We should have won, but we didn't. At Jets, we did take care of business. At Carolina, Rico Dowdle, this is why I called it a clown show. Rico Dowdle made us look like fools for not keeping him at some slightly higher price, just slightly higher, because he ran it down our throats and right through our hearts. 30 carries for 183 yards, and they beat us with a walk-off field goal. That never should have happened. Never. We should have won that game. Washington, we got a huge break because Jaden comes in without his top 3 receivers, no Scary Terry. And then Shamar James, blitz, pulls him down, yanks him down, pulls his hamstring. He's out early second half. We win 44-22. At Denver, we had our chances early. We lost 44-24. And then the ultimate clown show happened against Arizona when every third down in the first half, it was 7-9, but 7 times in the first half, I just said, surely we can stop them this time, and we couldn't stop them. And they get the ball to start the second half, and in 3 plays, they go 75 yards. In 3 plays, and it's 24-7. That's a clown show run by the ultimate leader clown, Jerry Jones. And I'm saying, yeah, trade my ass. And I just said, this is it. I'm out. I'm off. I will never pick them again. I gave up on them. And I decided to do a video at this moment, as I record this one, saying enough of Jerry Jones, enough of this country club culture, enough of his shenanigans, enough of his double talk, enough of his tomfoolery. It's the Dallas cow patties. That's who they are. They're just shit show cow patties. There's no D in Dallas. It's the Alice Cowboys. That's who they have become, because all these losses are joke losses to me. They're shameful. They're humiliating. It's just hard to be a fan of this team the way I have since I was 10 years old. And now, before I get to the rest of the schedule, and you're going to like what I have to say, just remember, if you own a business, hiring can be just so time consuming. I've heard stories of employers waiting weeks, even months for the right candidate to apply. Then you have to get in touch with that potential candidate, which can be its own set of troubles. Well, let me tell you, the future of hiring looks so much brighter because of ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's latest tools and features help speed up finding the right people for the right roles that you need. If you see a candidate you're really interested in, you can unlock their contact info instantly thanks to ZipRecruiter. Over 320,000 new resumes added to ZipRecruiter monthly, which means you can reach more potential hires and fill roles so much quicker and easier and sooner. Use ZipRecruiter and you can just save so much time hiring. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's pretty great. And if you go to ZipRecruiter.com/SKIP, use my first name, go there right now, you can try it for free. Doesn't get much better than that. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/SKIP. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Okay, now back to what's left of the schedule. So the Cowboys realistically are, as Bill Parcells said, what their record says they are. They are 3-5-1. But I found it intriguing on today's Arena Gridiron that featured Jay Gruden, brother of John, former coach of the Washington Redskins for about 5.5 years. Didn't do well against Dallas, but did coach the old Redskins. Knows what he's talking about. He listened to my spiel this morning, and because of Quinnen Williams, and because of Overshone, and because of Logan Wilson, and because of a potential Trevon Diggs return, Jay threw up his hands and said, hey, I think you still have a shot at the playoffs. And I'm like, I came in here with no hope. I came devastated. I opened the show by taking my Dak jersey and I just fired it into the turf there on Arena Gridiron's studio set. Because I just seen enough. Just when I most needed him, needed to trust Dak, he had a QBR of 37. He was off the whole night. As I said, well, it's Dak Prescott. Emphasis on the press, because I get it. He's pressing because he thinks he's got to score 40. As I predicted 38 to 35, and he's saying, okay, I got to score 38. And they go down, boom, 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 boom. They got first and goal at the 7, and you know what happened. He's pressing, he's misfiring. Jake Ferguson's dropping. And yet, Jay Gruden looked me in the eye today on the show and said, yeah, I think you got a shot. It's still early. We're 9 games in. 8 to go. And here's my point about the 8 to go. Again, we're in our bye week, going to Las Vegas for another Monday night game. Can we win that game? Sure we can. Is our defense going to look different? Yes, it will. Will it play with more confidence in its talent and its scheme? You better believe it will. Quinnen Williams, it's a force. He's real. He's a legit superstar. I give Kenny Clark star, but I give Quinnen Williams anchor superstar. We got that from Micah. We got those two. So we shored up. Remember, Micah can't stop the run. These two can really stop the run and rush the passer. Both of them can, from right up the gut. Both of them. Quinnen Williams has 40 sacks in his career. Alabama, difference maker. If Logan Wilson can pick up the scheme quickly, which I'm sure he can, high IQ, athletic, runs around. He's not as fast as Leighton Vander Esch was, but he stays healthier. And I think he packs more of a wallop. Leighton could just run, but not that physical of a football player, and then had neck injuries that very prematurely halted his career. But will we look different 2 weeks from that Monday nightmare? Yes, we will. Can Dak's offense take a deep breath and at least get back to being a very good offense instead of an all-time explosive one? Yes. I don't know why we didn't feature George Pickens going deep, because he's the best deep ball receiver in the league. And I know Arizona's shading him with the safety the whole night, but Dak just has to give him a couple of chances to go up over two players and snatch the ball out of the sky. Will that start happening more? Yes. Did Javonte Williams play his tail off against Arizona? He did. And then he's over-trying, and fumbled late, and that ended it. And I thought that drove the final nail into a coffin of the season from hell. But now I'm not so sure, because here's the point. After the Monday, we do have a short week, and we're on the road. But you don't think we can get up for Philadelphia at home? We will play them a close game. Are we capable of winning that game? Sure we are. Always at home against that team, we are capable. Dak always plays well against Philadelphia. Is it possible we win that? Sure, it's possible. Again, I love Howie Roseman. He runs Super Bowl rings around Jerry Jones for the most part. So they got Jalen Phillips as a pass rusher, and that was a really good move. And they got Jair Alexander, who was either doghoused or on the shelf, or I don't know what happened in Baltimore, but it just didn't work. Great move. He'll help them. Then they got Michael Carter II. He'll help them. He just gives them depth in the defensive backfield. Way to go, Howie. I thought Howie had won the trade deadline once again. But what Jerry did, just because Quinnen Williams, to me, is more impactful than Jalen Phillips, kind of re-even the playing field here. Could we beat? Sure, we could beat Philadelphia. Kansas City on Thursday, Thanksgiving. We're very good. We're skilled. We're seasoned. We're experienced at turning around for a home Thursday Thanksgiving game in which the crowd will be hyped. Big entertainment day. Big day. The world is watching. It's always the biggest TV rating of the NFL season, except for the playoff Super Bowl, but of the regular season. Always. So huge. Can we beat Kansas City at home on a Thanksgiving? They're not what they used to be. You obviously have to get after Patrick Mahomes. We saw Buffalo get after him, hit him 15 times. He looked pretty mortal to me. Could we win that game? Yes. Maybe I'll give you slightly less likely because it's not a division rivalry and you got to turn it around quickly off Philadelphia. But could we win? Yes, we could win those games. Well, then the world would be buzzing about the Dallas Cowboys because we'd be back in business. Then we got to go another Thursday to Detroit. Well, I said before the year, I just put a big XL beside that. An extra large loss. XL at Detroit. It's hard to win there. Although, I just watched J.J. McCarthy go back to his old stomping grounds and win there. Are they beatable? Sure they are. Do I think Dallas win? I don't. I give you Detroit. But then think about this. As I look down the stretch, the next two tough games, everybody says the schedule gets so much tougher as it gets colder. Okay, we got the Vikings, speaking of, and we got the Chargers, but they're both at Jerry World. Is our offense capable of scoring 30 and 30 against those two teams? Yeah, it is. And the Vikings can be really good on defense as they were at Detroit. But our offense is really, we had a bad night. Akib kept saying just one off night for Dak. But do I still love our offense? I don't love our offensive line as much. That's a problem. Maybe we need to get some of the backups into the starting lines because I feel like some of the backups played better than rookie Tyler Booker. Maybe even Cooper Beebe at center. I don't know. It didn't look good. And I'm not a Tyler Guyton guy. Just not. I wasn't at Oklahoma. But they have serious depth in the offensive line where they can mix and match and maybe give Dak a little more protection. So Vikings, Chargers are at home. So when I look down at the tough games, well, 4 out of the 5 tough ones are at home. I'll take that. Philly, Kansas City, Vikings, Chargers, all at home. 4 out of 5. Split up by the one trip on a Thursday night to Detroit. And then we end the year at Washington, at Giants. Well, help me out. What's left of those two teams? I don't think Jaden will come back this year. I could be surprised, but I don't think he will. So it's going to be Marcus Mariota, and he'll fight and scratch and claw and compete. I got that. But that team is, it's the over-the-hill gang. They tried to go old and experienced, and they just went, they got old right before your very eyes. That team's going to be home for the holidays. That's a Christmas Day game. Maybe it's Christmas evening, you'd say. But still, it's a Christmas game. I like our chances in that game. And then at Giants, I like Jackson Dart. But I don't like what's left of the team. Coach could be gone by then. I don't know. It's a mess. Do we have a chance to? Yes, we have a chance to win that game. If we had to win those two games to slip into the back door of the playoffs, could we slip in by winning at Washington, at New York? Yes, absolutely. So what was a season from hell with sorry losses that should not have happened at Philly, at Chicago, to Green Bay in the tie, and at Carolina, and then obviously Monday Nightmare, Arizona. We could right the wrong. Would that be enough? Okay, so let's quickly do the math here. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that we figure out how to win at Las Vegas and beat Philly and Kansas City at home. Okay, there are 3 wins. Okay, say we lose at Detroit. Okay, so now we get another loss. Then we got the 2 home games, Vikings, Chargers. What if we win those 2? That gives us 2 more wins. What if we go to Washington and New York and win those 2? That's 6, 8. That's 10 wins. Interesting. And then that would be 10, 6, and 1. I'm not saying that's a guaranteed playoff berth, but have a shot. It would require other teams losing and coming back. But you got a shot. So look what's happened to me in 24 hours. I went from funereal. I went from obit. I went from doom and gloom, and it is over forever and ever, to Jerry has me by the eyeballs again. He did it. He went out, and in the end, I guess maybe the trade that he was boasting about, that he was gloating about, that he was teasing and hinting about, was Quinnen Williams, not Logan Wilson. So maybe I leaped to a conclusion on Tuesday morning I should not have leaped to. I'm starting to think, wait a second, it's the Quinnen Williams trade. Think about this. Why would the Jets give him and sauce up? Think about what their defense was, as bad as their football teams were. Just think about this. I look at Quinnen Williams. Okay, their defenses over the previous 4 years, not this one, but the previous 4, thanks to Quinnen Williams, and you can throw sauce in there, but it starts with Quinnen Williams. You know it, and I know it. In yards allowed, they were 3rd, 4th, and 3rd. Wow. That's how they rank defenses in the National Football League. So they rank 3rd, 4th, and 3rd defensively in a 4-year stretch because of that difference-making anchor, Quinnen Williams. Why would the Jets give him up and sauce up? Why would you wreck the strength that you were hanging your hat on? Well, it's because they just kept losing. That they went, in those years, they went 7-10, 7-10, 5-12, and then, of course, if I fast forward to this year, they're 1-7. Okay, so I guess they, unless Quinnen Williams has got something wrong with him, Jay Gruden thought, well, does he have a knee issue or something? No, not that I know of. Sauce to the Colts is a Super Bowl move. Quinnen Williams to Dallas is a playoff move. Way to go, Jerry Jones. Congratulations. You got me again. You lured me back. Instead of jumping off the bandwagon, I'm driving it again.